Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. We're currently on a Mediterranean cruise sailing around the northern part of the Med, hitting some amazing spots in Spain, France, and Italy. We had departed yesterday from the beautiful port of Barcelona, enjoying many of the scenic, culinary, and worldly delights that this amazing city has to offer. Now our cruise ship, the NCL Escape, was sitting at our next port of call in Cannes, France. But we decided to make it a sea day for ourselves, given that we've already been to Cannes, and this was a relatively short cruise. We wanted to take the time to experience what this ship had to offer. Make sure to check out our previous video to see all of the amazing things we were able to do on this ship, as well as our time in Barcelona. Alright guys, we are back from our kind of self-created sea day here on the Norwegian Escape. We're in Cannes today, but we didn't really feel like getting off the ship. We have a very short cruise, and we wanted to get to know the ship a little bit better. And then also it was a sunny day out, and really actually quite nice earlier, so we decided to go out by the pool, just enjoy ourselves, just relax. There's nothing wrong with not going out to the ports if there's nothing there that really seems like it interests you, or if you have a very short cruise and don't have time to get to see all of the ship and everything that the ship has to offer. So that's the route we went today. So today for our lunch, we went to American Diner, and this is the complimentary restaurant that is up on deck 17, just above the pool deck. And we didn't know what to expect. We thought it would be kind of just like a seaside grill or something like that, which serves hamburgers and hot dogs right next to the pool. They always have those on these ships, but it was a little bit more involved than that, actually. It was a restaurant with a full menu. So I decided to get a sandwich, and Catherine got a burger. All the food was very good. It was a pretty good experience. You do eat outside, so it was nice to eat kind of in a covered area that was outdoors, got some fresh air. But yeah, it's a full-service restaurant, essentially. American Diner. We can definitely recommend that if you have a little bit of time and you're up on the pool deck and don't feel like going to the buffet or going to any of the other restaurants that are on the lower decks. American Diner could be a good choice for you. After getting our lunch, we did enjoy some more time out on the pool deck. Here we found several jacuzzis and a few main pools that the ship had to offer. It was a nice and sunny day, so we were glad to be enjoying this deck with a drink in our hands. There were also several bars all over the ship, where you could imbibe in some of the refreshing beverages on offer. If there is a shortage of anything on this ship, it was definitely not bars. As we said before, there was not going to be a sea day on this cruise. Most cruises that are more than 5 days long do have a sea day built in. This is a day where the ship does not enter any port and it spends all of its time cruising towards its next destination. These sea days are a great time to explore the ship, and NCL always has several activities available for cruise guests on these sea days. Today, given that we were in port, there was only a limited number of activities available to us, but we did take part in some of them. We headed down to the atrium for some trivia and other audiovisual competitions. While we were down there, we had to check out the atrium bar, which also has a Starbucks attached to it with a little bakery. These Starbucks drinks, unfortunately, are not included in your normal drinks packages. If you ever need to talk to customer service or book yourself a last-minute excursion, this atrium area is also where you're going to find those desks. From the atrium, we walked a little bit further forward on the ship and found a very unique venue, the Supper Club. The Supper Club is meant to mix entertainment with dining, and you can make a reservation here for a dinner show experience. This venue is very interesting, and it's only on the NCL Escape. From there, we headed back up to the room to rest a little bit before dinner. The ship will be pulling out of Cannes pretty shortly, but we are ready for dinner, and tonight our dinner is special because we are going to Cagney's Steakhouse, the American steakhouse here on board. It's always a treat when we get to go here, and we're actually doing this with our free at sea package. So NCL has this thing called free at sea. You can add it as just an extra charge when you book your cruise. And the free at sea package includes unlimited drink package, not the premium beverages, but still pretty much a wide selection of choices for beverages. It gives you a $50 credit for excursions in each port. It gives you a certain amount of minutes of internet time depending on your cruise length. And then it also gives you free speciality dining. Speciality dining on these cruise ships is at an extra charge. There's tons of venues for speciality dining here on this ship, and we chose Cagney's. So since our cruise is very short, we only get one specialty dining experience. But basically that means as long as we go with what's on their menu and don't do any kind of add-ons like lobster or anything like that, our meal will be completely free. So right there, that is enough to pay for this free at sea package. We'll talk a little bit more about free at sea later, but we are excited. We always have a good time at Cagney's, ready to eat some steak. So we're going to head out right now. Our reservation isn't until 8:30, so pretty late tonight. That was one thing. We booked this reservation several weeks ago, and 8:30 was the earliest time that we could get to eat with 3 people. So if you are looking to do specialty dining, make sure you go online onto NCL's website. You can add these experiences, these dining experiences, right to your account there. You'll basically add them to your cart as if you're checking them out, and then that time will be reserved for you once you get on the ship. So we definitely recommend doing that before you get on, several weeks before you get on, actually. These things open up. Yeah, so we're going to Cagney's tonight, super excited. As we said, our reservation wasn't until much later, so we were looking to kill some time as our ship made its way out of Cannes. As we were walking around, we stumbled upon a venue that almost felt hidden, the District Brew House. The District Brew House definitely gives an industrial brewery vibe, and there were tons of beers on tap here. In fact, there are always 24 beers on tap at any one time, with some 50 more beers available by bottle or can. This is actually a very impressive selection for a cruise ship. You can also order food here like street fries, nachos, and shrimp, as well as sit and enjoy the views out the side of the ship. We even found this fun little mini beer pong game that you could get from the bartender, though we struggled a little bit playing it. Oh my.
I really was hoping I would make it while we were filming.
Yeah, but that got away from you, didn't it?
Yeah.
This venue also hosts live music in the evenings, and it was great to spend a couple of hours before dinner here. You can find the District Brewhouse on the forward part of Deck 8. Finally, it was time to head down to Cagney Steakhouse in the aft section of Deck 8 and enjoy our free meal with our free at sea package. Cagney's definitely gives a classic steakhouse vibe, and the mixture of light cocktail music and dark wood finishes make it feel very homey. The menu offers several appetizers, 4 main grilled cuts of meat, and several choices of sauces. There's also a few featured selections here like prime rib and lamb chops, as well as some seafood choices. There are also, of course, desserts on offer. With the free at sea meal, we could choose 1 appetizer, 1 main dish, 2 side dishes, and 1 dessert, all of which was included. For our appetizers, we went with oysters Rockefeller, the jumbo shrimp trio, and a crab cake, all of which were amazing. Catherine was also feeling some soup, so she ordered the lobster bisque, which she said was decadent and tasty. For our mains, we had to go with the filet, all of which were cooked very well. My mom even added a lobster tail to her dish, which came at an extra cost, but she said it was worth it. Of course, we had to go for dessert here and got the 7-layer chocolate cake and the apple pie. We were stuffed when we left here, and we headed straight back to the room to digest this amazing food before going to bed. Good morning, guys. We are here in Livorno, day 3 of our cruise on the NCL Escape. Last night we went to Howl at the Moon down in the Headliners Club, which is like the comedy club on board. It's just a little room with a bunch of chairs and a stage. And man, was that fun. They play for like 4 hours, which is crazy. We caught them towards the middle of their set, and you can kind of walk in, walk out whenever you want. But they take requests, they play songs on the piano, they had a flute out, they had a guitar. It was a great time. So this morning we're going to get breakfast again at O'Sheehan's, and then we're going to go out on the town. We're actually going to go, hopefully, up to the little town of Lucca, which is just north of Pisa. It's supposed to be a walled city, a bunch of historic buildings, supposed to be really cool, and then we'll backtrack, see Pisa a little bit. It should be a good time, and it's really simple to get to just on the trains out of Livorno Central Station. Should be easy.
O'Sheehan's Pub is located in the middle of Deck 7, overlooking the atrium. It offers a variety of items for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. In fact, this restaurant is actually open 24/7. Today, though, we just had breakfast and went with some pancakes and French toast. It was all very good. After breakfast, we disembarked into the port of Livorno. We headed through the port building, which was surprisingly empty. There were tons of booths for excursions, but nobody was here. We got in a line that we thought was for taxis, but it turned out to just be the shuttle bus to the center of the city, which we really didn't want to take. We wanted to get to the train station, but there were no taxis in sight.
Alright guys, so we made it to the train station now, but getting here was quite it was quite an adventure. They do have shuttle buses from the cruise ship, but what they don't tell you is those shuttle buses go to the center of Livorno. They do not go to the train station, and the center of Livorno is about a 30-minute walk from the train station. Also, there were no taxis. They said there'd be taxis at the port. There were 0 taxis there. A bunch of people were looking for taxis because if you want to get to the train station, it is cheaper to take a cab from the port to the train station instead of getting the shuttle to the center of Livorno and then getting a taxi from Livorno to the train station. But we are here. We ended up taking a bus because we could also find no taxis in the center of the city. We don't know if there's a taxi strike today or what's going on, but we're here. It took us a really long time. We were going to go to Lucca today, but I think we'll only have time to go to Pisa, which is about a 20-minute train ride away. Not too bad. The train departs in maybe 10 minutes. So yeah, we are here at the train station heading up to Pisa, and we'll get to see the Leaning Tower and get a bite to eat. And Pisa's a nice little city. We've been there before. So we salvaged this, but just be aware that you should ask if there are going to be taxis, if the shuttle bus is actually going to the train station, because these are things that, you know, they really didn't tell you very well. So here we go.
Our tickets up to Pisa via train cost a few euros. And before we knew it, we had arrived.
Alright, we made it to Pisa. Very short train ride, 17 minutes. Not too bad. It's like 2 euros. And then we're going to make our way over to the tower, the Leaning Tower. But first, we're probably going to get some lunch. Pretty hungry. Hopefully we can get some pizza.
There were plenty of taxis at the Pisa train station, and they have set pricing to get to the major sites in the city. However, we wanted to get some lunch first, so we started walking down the beautiful little streets of Pisa. This city is a fairly charming Italian city, and we were very surprised at just how charming we found it. We didn't really know what to expect, and only came to see the Leaning Tower, but around every turn was a little courtyard, some beautiful buildings, and nice little restaurants. Eventually, we stopped at one of these little restaurants for a staple Italian cuisine.
Stop for some pizza. I'm happy about it. Are you?
Oh, very happy. Always for pizza.
We took very little time to devour our pizzas. After all, we'd been walking around Livorno for quite some time, and it was getting to be late in the day. From this area, we continued on to the main attraction, the Leaning Tower. This tower is located in a beautiful little walled area of the city with a few massive green courtyards. The Leaning Tower of Pisa was completed in 1372 as the freestanding bell tower to the Pisa Cathedral, which stands right next door and is equally impressive. The tower is about 56 meters high on the high side, or about 184 feet. This tower has been stabilized enough to allow ticketed visitors a chance to climb up the stairs and take a look at the Tuscan countryside from its heights. Nearby is another impressive building, the Pisa Baptistry. This whole area is free to roam around without a ticket, but if you want to go into any of these buildings, you do need to purchase a ticket from the ticket office across the street. It is, of course, also free to take your own perspective photos, which many people were doing today. With that, we headed back to the train station with a €10 taxi ride and started towards Livorno to start our evening on the NCL escape. If you don't want to visit Pisa or Lucca while you're in Livorno, you can also visit the beautiful Tuscan capital of Florence. We did this on our cruise last year and it was absolutely amazing. There are several direct trains each day between Livorno and Florence, and even more that stop in Pisa on the way. When we journeyed there, a ticket on the train was about $14. If you don't want to take a train, you can also take one of the many cruise excursions offered by NCL. Or you can take a cheaper excursion offered by one of the many vendors on Viator or TripAdvisor. You can check out some links below for highly rated excursions to Florence, as well as some excursions to Pisa. Some of these actually leave right from the cruise port. Our train arrived into the station of Livorno right on time, and we took a cab back to the ship. This was really the first time that we were able to see the Escape up close. It really is a massive ship. We also loved the art on the bow.
Alright, back to the ship. We had a fun day in Livorno and a fun day in Pisa, but I think we're ready to get back on board. The sun was hot today. It's not even the middle of summer yet, but I think we're ready for a nice cold drink because it was warm. Catherine got herself a little hot towel on this hot day.
I thought it was going to be a cool towel. I mean, it still feels kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's getting cool now.
We headed on board and found a little surprise waiting for us in our room.
So we got back today and look what's ready. Our laundry. They always pack it in this nice little basket.
It was done pretty quickly, too. We submitted it yesterday morning around 9:30, and then we got it when we left the room this morning today.
Laundry on a cruise can be very expensive, but sometimes your status will get you a few dollars off here and there. We also found that NCL often offers laundry deals, like 50% off your laundry service. If you want to do your laundry on board, make sure you look for those offers in your daily cruise planner. Laundry stowed away, it was time for dinner. Tonight we headed down to Savor. I started with some white cheddar and potato soup, which was decent but not great. For our mains, our party went with the shrimp and fettuccine alfredo, the herb-crusted rotisserie chicken with potatoes and broccoli, and the chicken madeira with risotto. All of these dishes were great.
Alright guys, just got back from dinner here in our night at Livorno. We went to Savor tonight, so Savor and Taste are right next to each other on deck 6. They're both considered main dining rooms. They have the same exact menu as the Manhattan room. So there's really nothing you're missing out on whether you go to any three of these venues. They're all the same except for what you see kind of around you, the surroundings. And it was nice. It was small, more of an intimate space. And the food, of course, was absolutely delicious once again.
After dinner, we headed up to the Waves Pool Bar on deck 17 to enjoy the sunset. From here we could see all out over the port of Livorno, and it was amazing to just sit and watch the flurry of activity and the ships coming and going.
It always amazes us how these ports operate,
I know.
how many big ships they can fit in here.
Yeah. It's almost like a small city, just outside of a regular city.
Yeah.
On the other side of the NCL Escape, we saw the NCL Epic. The Epic was just starting to move away from its moorings to head out to sea and continue with its voyage on a similar itinerary to ours, just one day ahead of our schedule. If you've ever been on the NCL Epic, you will notice that it's very similar to the NCL Escape. In fact, the Escape is a plus class of the same base class of ship as the Epic, and sometimes it's referred to as the Epic's less ugly stepsister. As the Epic passed by, it gave a greeting with a few blasts of its horn. We watched the Epic pass our ship and take a turn into open waters, and then we headed back to our room.
If you ever don't know which direction you're going in the hallway, just look down at the fish. Alright guys, well that ends day 1 here in Livorno. We actually have 2 days here. It's an overnight port. They always stay overnight here on these itineraries around the Mediterranean, which is good because you can see Pisa, you can see Florence, you could go up and see Lucca, a lot of places to see in this area. But this ends day 1. If you join us tomorrow in our next video, we are actually going to be going on an excursion through NCL out to Tuscany, the beautiful Tuscan region of Italy, for some wine tasting. We're actually looking really forward to that. And then of course tomorrow is our last day on the cruise, because the next day we get off at Civitavecchia and go into Rome. Super sad. We actually already got our disembarkation rules, which is very upsetting because that means this cruise is coming to an end very soon. But we still have a couple of days to go, so we're going to enjoy them while we can. So come back tomorrow and we will go to Tuscany.